Hi, I'm Ariezz Adriano, founder and CEO of LIB Vibes Only, and this is the LVO Podcast. Hello and welcome. Thanks for joining me again in our fourth episode here. In the last episode, we talked about confidence, but being Liberian loud in a quiet word. So today, I want to slow things down and talk about something just as important, and that's fashion as a language. So whether you realize it or not, what we wear speaks a lot about us. It communicates who we are, what we value, and how we see ourselves. So this episode is called Fashion is Language. And that's because LVO doesn't design randomly. Every phrase, every word, every choice is very intentional. And today, I want to explain what the brand is really saying. I don't know about you, but when you look around nowadays, man, it seems like fashion is getting louder, but very empty. It seems like everything is about speed, about drops every week, about chasing whatever's trending in the moment. The logos are getting bigger, but the meanings are getting smaller. And culture, especially African culture, seems like it's being used as decoration instead of communication. Designs are starting to borrow the look without even understanding the language. But when fashion stops saying something, what you basically left with is a costume. LVO was never interested in noise. We've always been interested in the message. So for me, I approach everything the same. So what I'm saying is I approach the whole brand the same way I approach every conversation. What am I saying? Who am I saying it to? Why does this matter? I did not want to build a brand that needed explaining every time someone wore it. I wanted pieces that really carry meaning, even in simplicity. That's why LVO focuses on language first. The phrases, the words, and expressions that really comes from Liberian experiences, not just things that sound clever, but things that feel familiar. Bottom line, we're not designing to impress, we are designing to express. When expression is honest, people feel it, even if they can't immediately explain it. So, in this episode, I want to use this opportunity to talk about some of the language that we've used, behind the brand, and this is in no specific order. First up, we have No Spotter Story. So No Spotter Story seemed like one of the first tagline I already catch for the brand. But I'm not sure, I believe everybody had their own interpretation and what it really meant to them. But from the brand perspective, No Spotter Story was really speaking to being not being fake, avoiding lies, avoiding those web of confusions and all that. So it was more about discipline, about truth, living your truth. Bottom line, at LVO, we see No Spotter Story as refusing to take shortcuts regardless of how tempting they may be. Next up is Minding My Business. So minding my business feeds off the No Spotter Story mindset. Is about focus, is about setting boundaries, is really about growth that you pursue without any distractions. My next favorite, Made in Liberia, for LVO that signifies pride, but more importantly, the message from the brand in this is accountability. I mean, but we also see it as accepting your origin without apology. But I do want to speak a little more on accountability because, and this is my personal observation. I think we've begun to start doing a great job about screaming louder about Liberia and all that. But I kind of see, and again, don't hold me, responsible for this in any shape or form, but it's just my personal observation. I think we can tighten up the accountability part of it, because I feel that if I wore a T-shirt that said I was made in Liberia, I'm not just telling the world that, hey, check where I'm from. I'm also taking responsibility that, hey, every action, everything I say, all my moves is representing this country, and this is the mindset behind Made in Liberia. When it comes from the LVO perspective, is about not only being proud but also feeling that sense of accountability that you represent, you know, the country. So our designs are not meant to be over explained, because culture doesn't really come with footnotes. It's one of those things, kukuchumuku. If you understand it, you understand it. I mean, on the other hand, if you don't, that's okay too, because meanings usually reveal itself over time. So if you understand the language, if you understand these phrases and slangs and all that, then you kind of understand the LVO brand. Who usually gets to define fashion? Well, my personal observation, I believe, like, historically, the Liberian voices have always been filtered. It has been interpreted through other people's lenses uh, before it's even accepted as global. But I believe that language is power, and speaking in our own language, whether it's visually, verbally, culturally, is an act of confidence. So LVO isn't trying to sound global. We are already global. We're not trying to translate ourselves for approval. We are presenting ourselves with clarity. So if you are someone who wants, more from what you're wearing, then hey, listen up. LVO believes that clothing doesn't have to shout to be strong. It doesn't need to be loud to be confident. When you wear meaning, you move differently. You don't explain, you don't seek validation, you just let the message speak. And that's how LVO is meant to be worn, not as a decoration, but as a statement. As LVO continues to grow, this philosophy is not going to change. We will always choose message over volume, language over logos, and depth over speed. The fact is, trends fade, but language lasts. And as long as this brand exists, it will continue to speak with intention, whether loudly or quietly. Fashion is language. And that's why LVO chooses to use its words carefully. If this episode helped you to see the brand differently, then I want you to stay connected. Subscribe to the LVO podcast. Share this with someone who cares about culture and meaning. And tell me in the comments also which LVO phrase speaks to you most and why. And as always, LIB vibes only, no spotter story. I'll see you in the next episode.